And we're back
We are back.
with none other than our good friend, Mr. Bryan Hopkins.
What's up, Brian? I told you we ain't done yet.
We ain't done yet, baby. I
love
this
it.
guy's the epitome of not being done yet. So
100%.
we had
That's why
to
he's
get him
here.
on. Yeah, yeah.
You guys rule. This is awesome. It's funny because I feel like we've had the cameras, should have had the cameras on for the last hour.
Yeah,
We've
every
been
time.
hanging out, and I'm impressed. I walked in and I didn't know where I was at. I'm like, hey, Ryan, am I at the right place? Because it's like FedEx.
He's like, you sent me to North Las
UPS.
Vegas. Am I in the right place?
Yeah, I did. I was like, am I
Yeah.
in the right place? And then I walk in your warehouse. This place is incredible.
Oh, thanks,
And then
man. I
this
appreciate that.
room, this whole setup is unbelievable. And I've known you for a long time, but I didn't know this side of you.
Well,
so,
see, like I was telling Ryan earlier that I thought you were here during the pandemic times because we had a lot of the bands that were in here and filming music videos and doing all the shows and stuff. But I forgot you were in Alaska at that time, and you guys were playing a lot of shows out there, right?
Yep.
With Elvis Monroe, right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've gotten the stamp of approval from the host of Hero's Journey podcast.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, man. Thank you for the pointers too.
Yeah.
You've
Of
been
course.
giving us a lot of pointers in the green room there before we got started with this, man. So
It's
it's
my
gonna
pleasure.
definitely be helpful for us.
And I soak up the pointers from everybody else. Trust me. From Jesse Dugas, Jesse runs my websites and all this stuff, and he does my analytics and things, and he walks me through things, and I won't listen at times. I'm like stubborn. No, I'm going to sit down and do this. And then there are times I'm like, oh, you were right.
That makes sense.
But
Yeah.
it's the art of discovery. I talk about that all the time, sitting down with people and having a conversation. Had we had cameras on us when we walked through the place, you would have saw my jaw open. I felt like you just pulled back the curtain at Oz, man. Like this place was
Yeah.
unreal and what you're capable of doing out of here. And then this podcast studio alone, I shot video, so you can go to my page and see it. This room is phenomenal. And it's I have a photo shoot coming up. I might need to shoot.
Come on in,
need to
dude.
shoot inside here. I'm
Dude,
not
whatever
even
you
lying.
need, whatever you need, man.
Yeah, I
whatever
appreciate
you need,
it.
you know that. And we have I didn't show you the photography studio there, but we have a small studio in another room there, and it's where we store a lot of our camera and video production equipment. But there's a backdrop in there, and they shot some photography
Are you
in there
serious?
for their last album.
So I'm shooting at the barbershop.
Okay,
We'll get
yeah.
right into this right away.
Yeah, let's
Hell
go,
yeah.
dude.
Yeah, so I just landed My Vegas magazine, and then I did a little wheel and
Nice.
deal and landed my Nashville
Okay,
and my
that's
Austin
great.
as well, cover. And I'm shooting with one of my favorite photographers. I've been watching him for a long time. He shoots a lot of Zoe Bowie. They're
Okay.
good friends, you know. And so I remember asking him a long time ago, like, how much you charge to shoot, because he does a great job.
Mm-hmm.
And Patrick Rivera is his name, and so Patrick and I are he's going to shoot this for me, and we're going to shoot at the barbershop for one of the shots.
that'll be cool, man.
But he said, "Hey, man, we got to find somewhere really cool with a cool vibe."
Does Big Hoss still own the barbershop, or did he let that place go?
I don't know who that is.
So
okay.
Big Hoss was on Pawn Stars. He was the son. He's Rick's son on Pawn Stars.
Oh, I don't think he does.
And he bought the barbershop. I want to say this was like circa 2017 around there, maybe?
No, it's been through multiple
Okay.
owners. J-Rock, a bunch of different people have owned it. There's a new owner as well. I haven't met the owner.
Okay.
But Ben runs the room.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ben books the talent and whatnot.
He's been doing that for a while too, right?
And Ben owns an agency here in town with Peter Love.
Okay, yeah.
So they have an agency together. And and we came here, Ben and I came here he had $80 in his pocket. He had all his money tied up in toys. And then we came into Vegas, and that's how we met, in the, doing shows. I met the guys from Otherwise. Did you ever know that I literally bought them drinks? We were at, we just recognized the name of the band.
The Fray.
The Fray. We were at the
Fray.
Fray concert.
The
right.
Fray at
Oh,
Red
shit.
Rock Pool.
This is crazy. That's a crazier story, but go ahead.
Yeah, so we're at the Fray concert, and I see he and Adrian behind me. I don't know them. And I just turned and said, "What do you guys want to drink?" And I bought them drinks, and they're like, "What?" And then we find that we're walking the same direction in the VIP area So now we're side of stage, and I'm like, oh, who are you guys? You know, like, obviously, you know,
Yeah.
we
There's got to be some kind of connection.
There's
Why
some
haven't we
synergy.
met yet?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so we were there, and we were working with the same people and booking, you know, going through the
I love that
same
line
channels.
you said. You're like, buying them a drink is cheaper and smarter than fighting them.
Yes, exactly.
It's
I'm
totally cheaper.
That was it. It's way cheaper. Like I was like, oh, I'm gonna befriend these guys, and it's way cheaper than
Having to fight.
having to fight these guys or
a good
something. You know, I'm gonna make friends.
Yeah.
You know, so total blast. So we've been friends for a while.
Yeah,
and
man. It's great to have you. Not that it wouldn't have been awesome, you know, months ago, because you're such a enigmatic character that we talk to you no matter what. You find the positive. You see the bigger picture. You also bring your spin as an artist to it too. But as of recently, you've gone through a lot of changes in your life.
Oh, yeah.
And you know the word is like it's like the rebirth of Bryan Hopkins
Absolutely.
happening.
Because I
as
mean,
we
I've
speak.
always seen
Appreciate
you.
that.
I've always seen you, and I see you at concerts all the time. And it's like, oh, there he is. What's up, man? You're always in good spirits. You always have a smile on your face. You're always energetic.
Thanks.
You know, so it's like to kind of hear that, you know, everybody has a downside of things.
Yeah.
You know, before they have a return. You know, it's just. You know,
Absolutely.
it's good to hear that from somebody as positive as you.
I appreciate it. And here's the thing: I always feel lucky to be who I am. And we all have our insecurities. We all have our downside. We all have bad days. I don't drink. I've never done drugs. I don't even know what alcohol tastes like. And so I don't have any excuses to like, oh, this day got away from me or whatever. I have nothing to.
Got no baggage, no burdens.
I don't have that to blame. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I only have, am I going to get up today and work hard to get what I want? Am I going to at least move forward? We talked about that, you know, while we were making coffee. It's what am I going to do for me right now to move forward? And that's where I'm at right now. I was thrown into it. I've gone through a breakup. We were together 6.5 years. I didn't see it come, and boom, it's over. So I went. My personality is I lose myself. I love hard. And she was my person. That was it. If I'm not hers, if she doesn't choose me today, okay. You know, I'm going to move forward. I have to. It was hard.
Yeah.
And each day has gotten a little bit easier, right? Each day is a little bit easier. But here's the thing. I have dove into, okay, what can I do? And I started eating better. I don't miss the gym. I wrote 2 new songs. And one of the songs I was pissed off because I wrote it and that music was in my phone for about 3 years. But I had to go through what I went through to write this song. And when I sang it to Ben, he was like, this has to be recorded. Like, it's probably the best song we've written, because it was his music. And I sat and wrote it. And it made me sad because this whole thing that I have with him was built on a breakup. I was engaged to Natalie Eva Marie, the WWE wrestler. That was my ex-fiance.
Okay.
And that was my fiance, and we break up. That's not the girl I'm talking about right now.
Right.
This is years ago when I started in Elvis, Monroe. And I wrote all these songs about that I hid them. You know, they're hidden. One sounds like death. Well, that's kind of how you have to handle a breakup. Like, it's gone, right? So Rewind is a song, and Beautiful End, and Leave Me, and Green Light, and all of these songs that I wrote that started Elvis Monroe. And it was built out of a breakup. Then the next breakup after that. And I'm like, damn, it's a shitty place to have to be as an artist, to write amazing songs like that you're proud of, but it's these moments. And I looked at it like,
so does it really
I've been
take
given a
that
gift.
moment? I mean, and that's what, you know, even having Adrian in here, you know, he was talking about the same thing. It's like, it takes those things. Ryan was saying it too. It's like, maybe I got to have Jess break up with me so I can write this song. Does it take that kind of emotion in order to create?
I want to say it doesn't, but it does.
Yeah.
And that
It definitely helps.
It does help,
Right.
but it's.
Yeah.
I want to say that it doesn't. Because I've written songs with her that were happy and whatever. And I remember sitting with a big record exec, and I won't say who he was talking about as an artist. He's like, yeah, he's really happy. We're just not liking his songs that he's writing right now. And it was unfortunate because my girl was sitting there and she's like, oh, like if we broke up, you probably write some great songs. And I'm like, yeah, please don't do that to me. Like I will do my best
So
to
you'd
write
rather
the best
have
songs.
her than a new album.
Right, but I don't have the choice. That's
Yeah.
what's happening.
Yeah.
I don't have the
Right.
choice. So it's like a rebirth of myself, which is happening right now. I'm down 36 pounds since then.
Yeah, you look great,
awesome,
man.
bro.
Yeah, you look like
Thank
you've
you.
been hitting the gym, baby.
I when writing music, one of my favorite hip hop artists, he goes by the name Superman, Supaman. This guy is legit. I was showing you guys
Yeah.
off camera.
He's a badass.
He is. Crow Nation from Montana. He's flying into town this weekend to be featured on one of my songs. Then he sent me a track and I wrote a chorus to it. So now we're building a song together this weekend, and that'll be released for him. And I'm actually, I'm just, my whole family's so excited to have
Alex,
him
can
around.
you pull Superman up? Supaman.
Superman.
Yeah. This guy's amazing. So anyway, he's coming into town, and I have that. I have my first drop, my single drop. And by the way, when he hit me, I played a song. I broke the rule. There he is. Dude is legit, and he's a champion fancy dancer. He's inspirational. He also is sober, and so he shares how many years he's been sober. He shares his, that
awesome.
journey with people.
Yeah.
And being Native American, I'm Lakota Sioux. He's Crow Nation, and to be there, I made a choice to never drink because I grew up with it on both sides of my family.
Oh, wow.
And it was something that I thought I couldn't handle. And it was just something I knew.
It's great that you were able to make that choice yourself.
At 8 years old.
Yeah, that's crazy.
8.
You just didn't want to go through the same thing.
I didn't want to put my significant other, whoever was going to be in my life or my family. I was a protector. I was the one who looked out for my brother, my sisters, my mom, and my dad, who had me at 16 years old.
Were you the oldest?
Yeah. So I look out. I took care of our tribe, my family.
Yeah.
And so that was the only way that I could do that, clearly, was to make these decisions. And I was an athlete, growing up. That was my life. So this journey that I'm going on right now, I'm really excited about with it this weekend with Superman.
Yeah.
My first single drop is going to be a song called One Day Someday. And
Is that the one that you want to cue up and just
yeah.
play a little bit of that
I
song
will.
for us?
So this is a
Give
rough.
us a little taste.
This is a
Yeah.
rough mix. I wrote this. It's funny because we were out on the road. We were doing some shows with Daughtry, and there's an artist who's in town August 2nd here in town is Brett Young. And Brett's playing here in town. And normally I play with him when he comes through. I've multiple, 4 times here in town we've played. We played on the road with him as well. But we met up. He was out with Lady A, and I'm on country radio, rock radio, both. So I get love from both sides.
Right.
Well, I witnessed a conversation. He talked us into meeting up at the Beaver Creek Saloon, this little dive bar in the middle of nowhere. It was in between both our venues, on our way to our gig, on the way to his, passing. So he says, hey, do karaoke with me. I'm like, I don't karaoke, bro. I just don't.
I do the real thing.
No. I'm like, he goes, this is where I cut my teeth. I used to come here and karaoke. My sister lives down the street. So his brother-in-law walks up to his girl, Taylor, and says, hey, do a shot with me. You're like family. You're his someday, right? And she goes, Brett, am I your someday? And he goes, hold on, Brian. What'd you say? She said, am I your someday? He goes, of course you are. And I grabbed my phone, and I'm like, that's a song. I'm putting it, and he's like, I'm 6'3", he's 6'5". He goes, what you doing? Right over my shoulder. I'm like, damn it. He goes, no. One Day Someday. He's like, that's the title. And then he's like, oh man, we're kicking around some ideas. Well, just conversation, right? Because we did do karaoke, and the manager put everybody's, phones away or whatever.
Nice.
And we were doing Tupac and Ice Ice Baby and all kinds of stuff we didn't know. They would just holler out stuff, and we would do our very best.
Right.
We were having fun with it. So this conversation happened after that. And so I went on the bus to something Ben had come up with prior. Like on the bus, he goes, hey, check this out. I just came up with this. I had nothing until that. And then all of a sudden I wrote this song, and I brought this song to Route 91 when Ben went out on the road with him and played some guitar. And I brought it to Route 91 to share the demo that I recorded. And they loved it. Brett's like, let's not change a thing. I love it. It wasn't what we talked about, but I went off and wrote this song. So here's a little taste. It's a rough mix of One Day Someday, Jay Rustin is mixing this album right now for me, who's working on Avatar, Corey Taylor's record at the moment.
Yeah.
And
he mixed that record right there for Otherwise.
Yeah. That's sick.
Yeah.
And Corey Taylor signed that guitar over your head.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, he did I think Corey's double album, and he did the Stone Sour stuff as well. So all the Steel Panther records. I introduced him to Steel Panther. He's amazing.
Yeah.
So but he's going to be mixing this for us. So it's a little taste.
Yeah.
In a crowded room, somewhere in town, I look up from my boots to have my world turned upside down. With my guitar in hand, I croon out a favorite tune, hoping she looks my way and she feels the way I do. She's my one day someday, glad I have her, gonna call her baby. One day someday, she's gonna call me baby, gonna have a family. I can see it in her eyes, our future's so bright. Gonna wake up by your side, one day someday.
Yeah.
She's my one day someday.
Yeah, so
I mean,
nice.
first take, I feel this Wanted Dead or Alive kind of intro coming in, but then I get at the chorus, I get that Bon Jovi vibe along with it too, man. It does have a real good taste of that.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's cool.
Yeah, it's good.
That's funny because that's Superman's like, hey, and I never got that until recently, and it's just kind of wild. Superman hits me and goes, hey man, I want your Bon Jovi-esque kind of chorus on. I'm like,
Oh, nice. Okay.
Like, and that's what I was when I wrote it. I'm so glad you came up with this. I'm like, really? That's like you're like like I get that. And I wasn't ever a Bon Jovi fan, but then one of my dear close friends is in Bon Jovi, Phil X.
Yeah.
And he's playing guitar on a song I wrote called "Bet on Me," and
Nice.
he's playing guitar and bass on the song right now. So
I will
pretty cool.
say, man, the synergy in your life it's incredible. You know,
Thanks,
like
man.
things just kind of fall in place, and it's not always positive things, but it's
No.
like how you deal with them.
Absolutely.
You know, and and there's like meaning.
Well,
behind
we
them,
were
you know?
talking about that too, is that you are creating that, right? You're
Yeah.
writing your own
Yeah.
story, and you're creating those
Yeah.
things by going out and getting them.
Yeah.
Right?
You
And
know?
that's
Because you can sit around here and wait.
No, and
You
that's
know?
the thing. And here's where my fault is. That that's what I was doing. This is who I am.
Yeah.
This is really who I am. And the moment John tapped me on the shoulder and I got a podcast, I told him the other day that you breathed life in me when I didn't know I was suffocating. Because I had lost myself in a person, and that person I lost, I gave my all to this person. And so all this energy and all this drive that I had was towards us and making sure that she was happy and safe and all these things. And I forgot who I was. And the moment it was over, I went, whoa, this is who
Where
I
am I?
am.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I knew who I was.
Okay.
And I knew that. And so it was like, it's time to get to work. And
So it was a wake up call almost.
It was.
Right?
It was
that
time.
6 a.m. boot camp wake up call. Like, let's go.
Absolutely. I just posted a video. I was at the gym at 2 a.m.
That's right.
doing my workout and posting about all the shows and still more shows coming in and being added. Since then, I had one more come in yesterday, and just tacking on all these things. And right now, I'm a one-man wrecking crew. I'm the one doing it. You know, I'm like, oh, I got to get a videographer for Saturday's shoot with Superman. It'll happen. I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
You know, I need a studio. I didn't have a studio until Sunday. I think, it was Sunday. All of a sudden now I have a studio, but Superman was coming in, and I'm like, it'll happen. And I got the studio. And to make sure that all these people that I introduce in synergy, you know, this kind of thing, putting all these people together. And then I was given the cover of the magazine, which we talked about, right? But I shut the door and I said, hey, look, this is what I want to do. I want to share something about myself that nobody ever knew, because I cover it up. It's something that I hide. I don't like T-shirts, right? Mm-hmm. I love jackets. I love, like, here in Vegas.
You're always in leather.
Bro, I am, and I love it.
You are always in leather.
You and I both, bro. We're always
he
rocking
is
them
always
jackets.
in leather, too.
We got them jackets.
I love rocking leather jackets, and same thing. So I was born with a thing called Poland syndrome. And Doc Nateen, engineer, who you had on the show.
Yeah.
He's a friend of ours. Great guy.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, when I brought it up to him, he's like, oh, wow, they put that in our boards. And I'm like, they do? Because when I was a kid, there were only 7 known cases of it. And what it is Poland syndrome is a birth defect. Okay. And
What causes it?
They don't know.
They don't know.
They don't know. It's
how rare is it?
Well, it used to be very rare, and now it is. Well, it's more
Documented,
known.
yeah.
And so much so that it's in his boards, he said, which was shocking. I'm born without a left chest muscle, and I'm born without part of my bicep. But your bicep's a major and a minor. The minor's missing. That's what connects to your chest. It's just my ribs. I'm lucky that my hands are normal, because your hands, especially on the side that it's missing the pec, your hands are underdeveloped and your fingers and toes are webbed together. And so I met this kid. He was from another country. He's a guitar player.
It's almost like it didn't fully develop then, right? Is that the way they would describe it? Is that
I think so.
Underdeveloped?
I took a snapshot of it. I tried to Google it the other day. I've never done that. That's how much it doesn't bother me. I've had plastic surgeons.
Dude, I would have never noticed.
Thanks.
I would have never noticed that, dude.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But it bothers me, but it doesn't. Not enough to where I've had plastic surgeons say, hey, I could put a pec implant in there for you. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, no, there's a bigger purpose here. And I'll figure it out one day. I'm 22 years old. I'm acting on, I'm on TV. I'm in soap operas. I'm doing stuff, and it's something that bothers me. I'm modeling in high school, and I still, it bothers me a lot. Like, if you stand next to me, I pull at my shirt probably every 30 seconds.
Really?
I'm pulling at my shirt. I'm pulling at my, like,
just fixing it.
To fix it.
Adjusting it. I can't wear shirts that have logos on the front because people will tell me, hey man, your shirt's crooked. And I'm like, thanks. Because it is going to be crooked. My body is underdeveloped. So what I'm doing, and this is the bigger purpose, that's what I was talking about, where I turned to Mark, the owner of My Vegas, My Nashville, and My Austin magazine. And I said, I appreciate you. He's a fan. And he's like, I want to give you some love. And I said, he gave me this, by the way, 1.5 years ago, and I held it because it wasn't the right time. It wasn't right. And I'm like, if I can save this, I will. And now I'm coming out as Bryan Hopkins from Elvis, Monroe. And I'm like, now's the time. I walked into his office last week and said, let's go. And here's what I want to do.
So is it just to clarify, is the Elvis Monroe stuff still going to be there?
It's
and
still
own
there.
Separate
We can be
project,
hired to go do shows, do tours,
Great.
whatever.
Just want everybody to know that.
Yeah.
Right?
Elvis
It's
Monroe
not
is
gone.
not,
It's still there.
No. And that's what I told Ben. Ben's my best friend. And I told him that day. And when I saw tears in his eyes, he was proud of me, happy for me, felt bad because he's just so busy.
Yeah.
That I want him to be successful. He's my best friend. Go be you, do you. But I can't sit on the sidelines doing nothing because
because you're waiting on Ben to get done so that you can
I'm in a relationship. I'm waiting on Ben. I'm waiting on all these things. Yeah. And so I'm like, no, I can't. And so.
Well, and oftentimes I think those kind of things are great excuses for why you don't do things, right?
Yeah.
It's like, well, I
excuses.
can't do that right now because I got to wait for Ben to get back. So that's a great excuse for me to not have to work hard today because I'm waiting on Ben. As soon as he gets back, though, dude, we're fucking getting in it.
Yeah.
Right?
Next week, next month, next year.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And it just bleeds. You're just bleeding time. And we're not promised time. I just said that a little while ago. So I turned to Mark and I said, okay, I have the photographer. I didn't have the photography yet, but I left his office, called Patrick Rivera, one of my favorite photographers, and I set that up. And so he said, yes, let's go. So we're shooting together, but
you're doing, it's a special shot.
Here's a special shot. I said, hey man, I want my Rolling Stone cover. I know it's not Rolling Stone, but this is me coming out. This is my rebirth.
See, that's why he's been in the gym, right?
Yeah, hell yeah.
He's
But
like,
see,
dude,
I'm
getting ready to get some photos taken, bro.
But here's the thing. I did not know that.
Yeah.
What I know how to do is I know the gym, just like his girl Jessie posts all this all the time.
Yeah.
Movement, breathing, your life. She does it. I share her stuff too.
Yeah.
Because that's what it's about. And I don't drink, I don't do drugs. What do I got to do? Well, for me, I got to go get right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I was hurting. So eating was like, and then I'm like, like I wasn't worried about eating. I just eat for the necessity. I need the fuel. I wasn't, It's not like I'm going to, let's have a meal together, that kind of stuff. So moving forward,
you can overburden that shit too when you're down in the dumps,
Yes. No, I could have easily went the other way.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So then I was prepared for this moment, and I'm still prepping. I still have about, like I said, 7-8 pounds that I want gone before I shoot, because I'm gonna shoot with my shirt off.
There it is. That's the
Yeah.
thing.
And
right
I'm gonna
there.
show everybody.
And you were saying you've never taken your shirt off.
Nobody see me in public.
It's awesome.
With my shirt. My family has, and my significant others.
Yeah.
And that's it. And
That's a
I
big
went,
deal, man.
this is the moment.
That is a big deal, man.
Yeah, thank you. But I want to share this, and I want people out there to understand that I'm doing this because I want you to know that I am like you. You may see me on stage, you may see me doing all these cool things and getting to hang with cool people like these guys, but I am like you, and I have my insecurities, and I've lived with this, and I've lived with hiding it and not being comfortable in public, not being comfortable on stage, not feeling 100 in front of thousands, but going, you know what? Okay, doesn't matter. I'm going to share my songs with you. Let's get lost. And we all have our thing. We all have the thing that messes with us here and here. And I'm going to share that with you. And that's why I didn't ever get it fixed.
Yeah.
And here I am, a grown man, and I'm finally sharing this.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is the moment that this is the reason why. And so I'm moving forward. And so I'm excited to do that.
Another part of that burn, right? Where you can just burn off all the excess that you don't need to worry about anymore, right? So
Absolutely.
You can move forward.
Yep. Absolutely. And go ahead.
No, just moving forward.
Yeah.
That is the ethos, right? Like not being done.
Yeah.
It ain't done yet.
Ain't done yet. That's it.
Yeah.
And you just keep moving forward.
It doesn't matter your age. It doesn't matter. I was going to say this when we were having drinks. Your drive will outdo talent if you keep moving forward.
All day long.
You will there'll be people that are like, I am better than he is or she is. But what are you doing? They're putting in the work. They're moving forward.
Yeah.
They're doing this consistently all the time. They're looking back. You're way back there.
Yeah.
They put in the work. And that's something that we all know. And when you're waiting on other people, it can just deflate you. It's like, here's all this energy, and then somebody puts a pinhole in it, and the air is just going out, and the momentum is slowly dying.
Well, I mean, I see that too with even with our competitors in our business. And, you know, I have a lot of friends that are in our business that are competitors of ours. But I congratulate those guys, you know. We just had another major competitor open up an office they're out of Denver, but they opened up an office here in Las Vegas. And I told them, hey, if you guys need anything, they're right down the street. I'm like, we're right over here, man. Let us know if you guys need anything. You know, there's 305 other companies that are exactly like our business just here in Las Vegas.
Wow.
You know, it's like, all we need to do is help each other out. You know, if
Absolutely.
we're out on trade show floors and stuff, hey, you need a ladder? Hey, I may need a ladder tomorrow, so you can borrow mine today.
Yeah.
You know,
that's how we became friends.
that's how, and that's how you guys are too. You know, and I always said that even on the management side of things, it's like, hey, you know, you guys all need to group together. There's all these big, huge bands that are out there too. And these big, huge bands, they group together.
Yes.
And they stick together.
Yes.
Right? And it's like all the guys that are just below that level, they all need to stick together too, play the shows together, take each other out on tours, talk about each other, share each other's music. We were doing that, you know, on a couple of the releases with Otherwise's albums. And some of these, you know, I would consider them bigger bands than Otherwise. And they would say, hey, will you know, can Otherwise release our album on their homepage? And we're like, yeah, sure. Well, can you guys reciprocate when it's time? And they're like, oh, of course.
Right.
So there we go. We post the album up, and 6 months later, Otherwise comes out with their album.
Nothing.
Crickets.
It happened too many times.
Yeah.
Too many times. You know.
No, I know.
You know, but
that's
it
the music.
doesn't have to,
you know,
it doesn't have to be that
that's
way.
how
Though.
it doesn't. You're right. It really shouldn't be that way. And in a lot of places, you'll see, you know, 11/7. You know, there's in the hard rock. I'm sure it's in other, but the big managers and the big labels, they get all their artists.
Oh yeah, all their
together.
artists, and they build their artists up, and rightfully so. That's what they should do. They have a business to run on top of, you know, all these musicians. But if these musicians are under their contracts, of course they want to bring the little guy up to the next platform, the next stage. How do you do that? You do that by getting them in front of more people. That's how music gets noticed, is getting in front of people, right? It can be good or bad, but if it's in front of people, people find out who you are, right? And then they can make a determination. But if you're never in front of them, they can never make a determination whether or not they like you or not.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, a lot of your fan base was built off of all those big, huge tours that you guys used to do with all those big bands like Papa Roach and, you know, Enter in big band here. And you guys were doing that 10 years ago, right? And that's what got you guys noticed, because you guys got in front of crowds. Those crowds saw you. They liked your music.
Yeah.
That every time I would look at their social media, at Otherwise's social media, and other bands for that matter, I'd look at their social media after a festival, right? And you'd see thousands of fans that have liked their Facebook page or got on their Facebook page when you look at the analytics, right? Yeah. But if you did any of the other just standard touring where it was 300 or 500 people, you know, you'd only get like 30.
Yeah, I'm excited about this. Make sure that I want to shout out to my little sister, Buffy. Buffy, my sister, she's been working on something for 8 years, right? I took my little sister on the road with me because she calls me up. And I remember where I was at. I was at the gym, and we were getting ready to do these shows with Daughtry and run with some other artists. And she's like, hey, Bub, my daughter is leaving for college, and I have nothing keeping me here. I want to see the country. Is there a spot on the bus for me? And I went, yeah, of course. She's like, but I want to work. I'll sell merch. Whatever you need me to do. So Ben was like, hey, we can't fire family. What if it's awful? It doesn't work out. I'm like, it won't. Trust me. So we try it out. She kills it.
Nice.
She kills it. The way selling merch, like we're playing these big shows. No one knows who we are before, but there's hundreds of people at our booth. Hundreds.
Yeah.
I would have guys videoing it. And so
There she is.
yeah. So yes, my sister Buffy.
Nice.
And I call her Buff and stuff. So she kills it on my show, or on my shows. Then we take her out with Three Doors Down. Well, the crew loves her, and they're like, "She's awesome." Your sister. So my sister's like, "Hey, I'm going out with the crew. They're Three Doors Down crew. They're going to this, whatever." And then the tour ends, and they're like, "Your sister needs to be doing this for a living." She gets a call and she does this interview, and next thing you know, she's working for Kenny Chesney. So my sister, who knew nothing about the business, is working for Kenny Chesney. Well, the crew doesn't take her out for like a 2-week run, and George Strait calls her, gives her a job. So then she's working for George Strait.
Wow.
Love it.
Then Kenny's like, "No, I want Buffy. I need Buffy back, and I want Buffy." And so she went out with Kenny for a little while, but then my sister, she bought her own cafe in Hollywood, in LA. She's at this big cafe on the not Paramount, but on one of the big lots out there. Okay. And so she's the big cafe in the middle of the lot.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And
that.
but what's cool is she started a company. My sister invented something. She got 2 patents. She called me up back in September, and she's like, "Okay, this is something I never told you, but this is what we're going to do, and I need your help." And I made one phone call. We launched on June 13th. We're changing the name. It's going to change my life. And I'm like, "Little sis, well done." And so we with her 2 inventions.
Keep us out of the suspense, man.
No, I can't tell you.
Can't say anything yet.
Everybody who sat down with us has had to sign an NDA.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's changing my life kind of situation.
When is it supposed to be released?
Well, right now we are in we had mock-ups done of them, and then we're meeting with manufacturers and we're meeting with distributors right now.
Okay.
And it has to do with bathrooms. So like you'll want them here in your business, and
nice.
It just literally will change everything, and it's very exciting. So
shout out to your sister.
Yeah, so my sister Buffy, it's just I'm proud of her, and she's been my biggest support through this. I can name my shout out to my boy Scott Hartman, an ex-girlfriend Sarah, who's reached out. All my ex-girlfriends have reached out to me through this breakup and wanted to make sure that I was okay, and I'm like, I guess I am a decent person because here's my ex is making sure that I'm okay. Yeah. And I'm like, that says something. And it made me feel good to have that and have that support. So that meant a lot to me. Thank you.
You did a lot of helping and saving people during the Route 91 situation that happened here in Vegas back in 2017. And I'd love for you, to just kind of walk us through that story. There's, I've been talking to a few people just before we started this podcast, and they're talking about a lot of the victims, and the victims are still having problems getting, some of the money from the compensation from all the donations that were made, and all that money still being held up. So. There's this huge conversation I wanted to jump into with a few other people that I'm talking to, but I mean, you are a survivor, from that festival. Can you talk to us about that?
Yeah, of course. I mean, are we rolling right into
part
2?
I think we can. Yeah, I think we can roll into part 2 if you're ready to talk about it. Let's kind of dive in. Give us from the beginning to the end. I mean, I remember when it happened. I'm in Nashville. I just get to my hotel that night. I'm watching. I think I had Fox News on, but you're on there, and you're inside of this. I believe it was like a cooler or something
It was a
with
refrigerator
like 20
truck.
people or
Yeah.
something. But, start from the beginning. You guys played there. You played the festival just before all this stuff went down, right?
No, I played the festival the first year.
Okay.
So
Yeah. Okay.
I played this was year 3 that this happened. So I played the first year. I wasn't even going to go. Brett Young convinced us we were supposed to do a radio tour. We had a 2-week run, and Brett, who I talked about in part 1, who I wrote One Day Someday with, and Ben produced that record, by the way. I want to shout out to Ben. You did a great job.
Ben Carey is a talented
Yeah,
dude.
he is. Ben Carey. It's my bandmate. You know him from Savage Garden and Lifehouse.
And Radio XX.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. There you go.
There you
There you go. Mad love. So Ben was playing with Brett. Well, Brett convinced us to go to Route 91. He's like, hey, look, Nashville's coming into your town. Why do you want to leave your town when we could all be hanging out together? And then it worked out that his guitar player couldn't get, like, I don't know what it was, couldn't cross Canadian border to get back in time. So he calls up Ben, and Ben played guitar for him or something like that. So Ben played for him that week on a run, and they pulled into Route 91 on the bus on Friday, parked the bus, leave. Ben goes home. Brett goes to his hotel room. I bring them One Day Someday, the demo that I demoed. And I'm like, hey, here's a song that I wrote while you guys were gone. And so I bring it to him. That Saturday, I go watch Brett. And then Sunday, I wasn't going to go. And the night before, I had actually ran into this girl who walked up to me and asked me, she's like, hey, I saw you this summer with Granger Smith at a radio show you played. We got a picture. Can I get another photo? I'm like, yeah. And then I ran into her again. And then I ran into her again. There's 22,000 people, and I run into the same person 3 times. And then she goes, are you coming tomorrow? And I said, if I do, I'll be in this area. So, and I did. I show up, but then and Ben, and I wasn't going to, but one of my buddies was opening up on the main stage the next day, and he's like, hey, you should come, because we toured together. He's from a band called Love and Theft, and he was playing with this guy.
Okay.
So I went to the show, and I'm hanging out. I run into her again, and we watched Kane Brown perform, and I told her, hey, tonight during Jason Aldean, I'll make my way out to this area. And that was Nicole. But so what happened was I went backstage, and I was hanging out backstage, during the show. And Brian O'Connell is the guy who put on the event.
Okay.
And so we're talking with, it wasn't Stormy Warren, it was the other guy from the Highway, from SiriusXM. We're hanging out with him. We're hanging out with Chris Young. I went and helped Chris Young get in. I didn't have a pass, and I'm backstage. Chris headlined the year before, and they're not letting him in. And I'm like, let me go let him in.
Right.
Ben and I are now toasting water with Brian O'Connell in front of Jason Aldean's bus. And Luke Combs is there. He just played this small side stage. Kane Brown, everybody's backstage, but they're all leaving. You can see them leaving. They're all taking off during Jake Owen's set. And because this is Vegas.
Yeah,
people like do their job. They're going to get out. They all know each other.
There's so many other things to do.
So many things to do. So I'm back there, and we're toasting with Brian, a successful event. I just literally said, there's no fights, nothing going on. Congratulations to this event. And I turned, and I'm like, I'm going to go fanboy out and watch Jason Aldean from the front. And I'm standing in front of his bus. He's going to walk off in those steps any second. But we know him, and that's the industry we're in. And I want to go watch him take the stage. So I give Chris a hug. He goes up on stage, and I go out front. So I'm high-fiving fans, going down the line. And by the way, I said I would never tell this story again. And I'm telling you guys.
I appreciate that.
Thank you, man.
I appreciate that.
So anyway, I did. I was like,
I'm sure it's a lot.
It's got to be.
It's got to be a lot to talk about.
I know.
But I'm walking, and Ben's with me, and we walk out front, and we make our way around the corner, and this guy walks up to me, and he goes, "Hey, Elvis, I saw you in Alaska with Jake Owen. I saw you at such and such. And because we play Alaska a lot. And he goes, can I get a picture? And I'm like, yeah. And he has a black cowboy hat on. And Ben goes, can I wear your hat? And so Ben puts on his hat and we take a picture with he and his friend. And he goes about 15 feet behind us, directly behind us. And show starts. And I walk up and I'm in that area. There's the two girls, Nicole and Nicole. Walk up behind them, said hi. Ben and I are talking. We hear what sounds like firecrackers, going off, whatever. I don't know how many songs in, And then it was like chaos happening. And then all of a sudden I see like a person go down in front of me. My brain's not computing, and Ben says, run.
Is everybody moving at that point, or is everybody wondering what's going on?
Yeah, it's just kind of, we're front left. There's the stage. Jason's out on the walk, so he's right here. And I turn, and Ben, all you're hearing is because they stopped the music. Now that's what you're hearing. You're hearing screaming, and Ben says, run. And he pulls me, and I take off. I take off to the left, and I stop, and I look back, and the two girls in front of me, they're frozen. And I go back, and I grab her hand, and I said, look at me, stay with me. Okay, just look at me. And as soon as I held her hand, I had looked over my shoulder, and a girl goes over the top of a guy. Like right over top, right? And I'm weaving them through all these people running at us. And I look back and I can't find Ben. Ben had been knocked down and then ran over. And then he gets up and he lost me, I lost him. He goes the way everybody else is going. I went the way that I came from backstage. So there's the doorway. There's no security guard standing there anymore.
Alex, can you bring up the map of... You should be able to bring up a map of Route 91 Festival.
Well, so now I'm putting the thousands of people behind me, but they're running this way, and we're weaving. We didn't get separated. And I have them stop. Here's the staging, and you can hear it hitting staging, metal. You hear it splatting. You hear people screaming. I don't know where Mandalay Bay.
We see main stage there.
The main stage now where where he's at, that's where I'm running. So there's a gate. Now I've went from out front, almost where the arrow is, right there. I was there back down towards, that's where I was standing. So I made my way across and now I'm running parallel because I cleared the corner because I didn't know if I was going to run us into what's happening. I clear the corner, said, let's go. And we're running. And it's like I'm having an out-of-body experience. Like I'm running in boots, not moving very fast. I'm holding her hand. And I keep telling her, look at me. You're going to be okay.
Because you didn't know where it was coming
where
from.
It's coming
from
or anything, right?
Nothing. I don't know what's going on.
Was there at one point too where, and I just remember seeing videos with everybody's like laying down, like everybody got scared and just laid down.
I didn't see them.
Okay.
I've already moved past.
You're gone.
I'm out of that area. You just hear screaming, gunfire, splatting, hitting pavement, hitting metal. You're hearing this.
Yeah.
Right? This is what you're hearing, right? Nonstop. And so I'm running. I come around the corner and I'm thinking I'm going to go the direction of where I came in, the artist entrance in the back. But it bows around and it goes towards where all the chaos is. And so I come around the corner. It's a big fence, and I think I can get over. I can get over that, but I can't get them over. And I made a promise, right?
Yeah.
This is what okay. And then somebody yells, get in.
How much time has gone by at this point?
Do you even know?
A minute? 2 minutes?
Minute
and
a half.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they said, get in here. And so we circle back, and somebody had opened up this door, and there's a ramp. You know, the back of a truck where you roll stuff up into the truck? There's a ramp there. So I didn't know people were following me. So I put the 2 girls in, and then I just start putting people that had followed me into this truck. I just kept putting them in, until no one needed my help anymore. Then I got back, and I get in the truck, and I went over and I held their hand. And there was a girl screaming bloody murder on the ground. There's a guy pounding the walls, screaming ISIS, this, whatever.
Yeah.
And the girl, Nicole Yorba, I know her name now, but I didn't know then, is trying to talk to the girl and calm her down. What's your name? Whatever. And I'm telling everybody, stay down, be quiet. Everybody just stay calm. There was people near the door behind me, and I'm holding this Nicole's hand, and there's another Nicole. And then this guy's pounding on the wall, and the other girl goes, "Hey, asshole, is this your girlfriend?" And she's like, "Take care of your girlfriend." I'm like, "Look, yeah." I go, "Do you think it's fair that your girl is being taken care of by a stranger? Take care of your girl." And then I'm standing because I'm thinking, I want to get out. I got to get out of here, right? Because I can't see what's going on. And I get pulled down by Nicole. They're like, because I'm telling everybody to stay down, and here I am standing up. And I kneel down, and I go to make a video for my family. It's 12 seconds long. And I'm like, I'm in a refrigerator truck. I know what I saw, but I'm trying to keep them calm. And I'm like, could be firecrackers, could be, and then this guy throws a rock sign in my video, and he's screaming. So I just turn it off. I thought I turned it off, and it went to black. And you can still hear stuff. It's like it started recording again. And that's when I thought to myself, I don't want to die in here. Because what had happened was, right before that, I went to the door and opened the door, and I heard it and shut it. And that's when they pulled me down. I haven't talked about this in so long. It feels like
you heard still more chaos going on when you opened the door? Or?
Gunfire.
Yeah, some more gunfire.
Yeah, it's chaos, screaming.
So, but when you close the door, you can't hear any gunfire?
No, you can.
It's like almost...
No, you can.
Okay.
It's just...
Muffled.
We're in a refrigerator truck.
Yeah.
Everybody's staying low. Everybody's on their phones.
Yeah.
My phone is ringing. Ben calls me when I'm in there, and I'm like, run. Just run. And he's like, are you okay? And I'm like, run. And I mean, this is, and I'm like, I'm going to be fine. I'll be fine.
Whereabouts was he at that time?
Running.
Yeah.
He had made it through the gate being pushed over. He's hiding behind cars, police cars. He's hiding on the ground, and he's running.
Is this like towards the Strip side or towards the
backside,
which would be the Tropicana side then? Right? Like going towards Tropicana. Here's the map again here.
I don't know. Like he's...
Because you're over by where it says exit on there, right?
I was just running.
I don't know where he was.
Yeah.
He had to be running towards like MGM or something. I don't know. Because I don't know. And so I don't want to die in there. So when somebody went to open the door, there was breaking the fire, right? Just for a moment. And somebody had taken that ramp and put it on the back of the fence, like up on the fence.
Oh, so they can climb it.
So they can climb out of the fence. And
how many minutes have gone by at this point?
I don't know. And I'm not going to be honest with you about it.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you when I get off the camera.
Okay.
Ooh,
Okay.
Yeah.
And so, but anyway, I'm being honest about my story.
Sure.
But anyway, because this is, and I can talk about this because it feels like a movie that I lived. And so I can talk about it like that. I can talk about it without like I'm just repeating scenes.
Yeah.
Okay. Honestly, I swear to you.
Yeah.
So somebody throwing that, somebody jumps, hits the thing, goes over, and I yell, somebody has to catch the women on the other side of the fence. We need help. And so somebody did, and he did for a moment. So he went over, and I just started lifting people out of the truck. And as I'm lifting them out, they're going over, And the two girls that are with me, Nicole and Nicole, are helping me put people. There was a bigger girl. It took all three of us to get her over that wall until we were the last ones. And one of the girls that was screaming girl said, I can't get over. I had surgery on my back. I said, I'll go over. I'll catch you. Right. And that didn't happen. And I asked this later, like, what happened? How did she get over? Because Nicole, I said, I need to get you over and then I'll follow. Because they said, we're not leaving you. I'm a stranger.
Yeah.
But they don't want to leave me. And so I tried to get Nicole Ruffino over. She slipped twice. I grabbed her by the waist and I started to run to the right. And I hear, run this way, run towards Hooters. And it's a police officer in slow motion in my mind. And he starts running towards a gunfire. And he runs towards danger.
Gunfire still going off at this time as you're...
Yes. Yep. So he runs towards it. And I grabbed the two and said, okay. And I start running past the refrigerator truck. Well, there's the girl. They're holding the hand of the girl, the screaming girl with the back surgery, her drunk ass boyfriend who... He had a great time. That's what he's there to do.
Yeah,
he's
course.
in Vegas. He gets to walk to his hotel room. He could be blackout drunk if he wants to.
Right.
You know, like I'm not saying that in a bad way about him. But he was hard to control at that time.
Yeah.
Then
did you realize at this point too where the gunfire is coming from and that's why you're going the other direction?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Still don't know anything.
Still don't
I've been
know.
in a truck.
Just running.
I'm just running. Now I'm being told where to go.
Yeah.
Okay, so then there's another lady, and it's Jason Aldean's best friend, DJ Silver's mother-in-law. I didn't know this till later.
Okay.
And so they follow me, and I lead them out by foot, but I'm running past. This is where I have nightmares because I ran past people on the ground. I'm 6'3", I'm not a small guy, but I made a promise to these girls. I don't know where this is coming from, and I made a promise to get them out. And on the ground, people on the ground, not moving. And I get to an open gate area and there's a guy with no shirt on, bigger guy, shot right here in the sternum with his buddy on top of him, crying, trying to breathe life into him, laying over the top of him. I run past him. In the midst of that, Nicole Ruffino had grabbed her phone, stopped running, called her mom and dad. And she's crying, and her friend grabs it. There's been an incident. Meet us at Hooters. Hangs it up. I'm like, we got to keep moving. And I said, run towards the dark. When we ran across the street into the dark, people are going that way and this way. While the couple went that way, the older lady went the other way towards Mandalay Bay because that's where she was staying. That's where her grandbaby was, she said. And I found this out later. There was a car parked in the middle of the road with about 8 or 9 people.
In the strip?
Nope, not the strip. I'm on the backside of the strip.
Okay.
I'm running towards the airport.
Yep.
Okay. And I said, run into the dark, the opposite way of where everybody was going. And there's a car parked with people. That's the first time I noticed where they're looking up towards Mandalay Bay, hiding behind this car. But the passenger was shot in the passenger seat of the car. And he wasn't moving. He was shot. He was, and they don't remember him. I do. And that's when I knew, okay, that's where it's coming from. And I ran towards this area, and I had to crawl underneath and pull this iron fence back. But 2 guys ran over and helped me pull it back. So all these people who started following me, the 2 girls and other people, went through there, and we started running towards Hooters. Well, we get to Hooters, and I run through the door there, and people, because of, I don't know, who I am, what I do, recognize me, whatever, like they know me, ran to me for help. They're covered in blood and mud and run to me. And so I gather all these people around a machine. And I said, okay, who has phones, service, battery life? Do you have phone numbers? Can you call people? They're looking for people. Let's just stay right here. As soon as we start to
So everybody inside Hooters is aware that there's something going on, and a lot of people that are in there were at the concert too.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's chaos,
Okay.
right? But then somebody yells, "He has a gun!" And they start running towards us. So I grabbed that group and I took them down a hallway into a kitchen.
Okay.
And I hide them in a kitchen. And there's an off-duty police officer who was, been drinking, but he had the front door. He's like, "I got this door. You watch the back." So I went by the back door and then gathered that same group of people together until we cleared. It was okay, and we could come out. So we get out, and as soon as we got out, Nicole's parents had arrived, and they arrived quickly, grabbed her, and they said, "Can we take you somewhere?" I'm like, "No, I feel responsible for these people too. Now they're safe, and now I got to help these people find the people that they're looking for."
So Nicole's parents were at the show too?
No.
They just came
from
together.
that call. They raced to the hotel that fast.
Wow.
Got there before they closed down that area and got out. And I stayed and then looked at everyone and said, "We are seeing on the news that this is happening here, here, here." And all it was just people running in and saying, "This happened." And whatever, it's like you ever tell a story at the front of the bus and that this where we're going to eat or whatever. By the time it gets to the back of the bus, it's completely, we're eating sushi. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't say we're eating sushi. Like, the story changes all the way to the back of the bus on our tour bus. Yeah. And so I'm walking along the airport until we get to safety, and I get somebody to pick us up in a car or something. And so I was holding a stranger's hand and this girl who was my sound man's girlfriend at the time. And I held her hand and 13 other people. And I walked them until we got to a grocery store parking lot where somebody had a truck and picked us up and took us to a house. And when I could plug in my phone, Ben calls me and says he's safe. And he's like, "You have to go on Facebook Live and let everybody know that we're okay." And while I'm on Facebook Live, I guess I look white as a ghost and I can see what's happening on the news over here. And one of the guys that I walked just got a call saying his best friend had been killed. So he got in an Uber and took off to a hospital. And he was one of the people that I walked. And so then I get a ride to my house. I get to my house, and my parents were staying with me like 6-7 months out of the year. I love doing that for my mom and dad, getting to walk red carpets and bring my dad on stage in front of thousands of people and let him play the spoons and just include my family. I told you we're a tribe, and it's what I love. So I'm sitting and telling my parents what happened at 3 o'clock, 3:30 in the morning, but already Channel 7 from California was at my house waiting for me.
Whoa.
From my Facebook Live thing. So there they are already. They had been driving. As soon as it happened, they were on their way. Then they stop and find me. Then CNN calls me. So I'm talking to CNN. I'm telling them what I know, what's going on. And they asked, "Did you happen to get any video?" I said, "I don't know. Here's what I have." So as I'm telling my dad what happened on the TV, I hear my voice telling the story and a video that's on loop the whole time. And so this is a surreal moment. My home phone, which I didn't know I had, is ringing. I forgot that it's just behind the TV.
Right.
And they're calling my mom's number and my dad's number and my number. And it's all news people. And my dad said to me afterwards, he's like, "Were you scared?" And I go, "No." And I start shaking, like uncontrollably, sitting there with my dad across from me going, "I should have been scared. Like, what was I thinking? I'm not bulletproof. What was I thinking? Like, I'm wearing I have a brand called Red Chapter Clothing, and at the time I had to deal with Marvel and Disney, and I had our Captain America shirt on, and I'm like, I am not bulletproof. What was I doing? And honestly, swear, that's what I was thinking. Like this, I can't believe.
Well, I think when that adrenaline hits, right? That adrenaline hits and that energy just goes and you're just doing. You're not thinking anymore. You're just doing.
Right. Well,
worry about everything else later.
Absolutely. So long and short of it, like I from that moment on, news crews were at my house. They were picking me up when I'd say, no, I don't want to do anymore. From Inside Edition, CNN, whatever. I said no, they would come pick me up. They would take me to these places. When I said no, all these cameras would be in my face. Just answer this question. And it just was like, whatever. I'd be running from them at times, crossing the street. I'm in tears. Total stranger made me cry once because he walked up to me from a blackjack table. I was just going to get some water. And he's like, you did good. And I start crying. And I'm like, so sorry. And he's bigger than I am. And he's like, can I hug you? I'm like, yeah. And then I walk outside and this little Indian lady with a cane goes, I'm proud of you. And I start crying again. And I'm running from the news crews because they're seeing me crying and I'm running. And over time, like getting through this, the one news crew saw me I was Mac on the radio, shout out iHeartRadio, calls me up and wants me to do an interview with him out of Florida. The first thing he said was, hey man, are you okay? As soon as he said it, I started crying. I couldn't even do the interview for a long time. They're all crying in the studio. I'm like, nobody asked me that. I'm 2 days into, like, no one's asked me if I'm okay. They just keep asking me to tell the story.
Right.
And it's not anything against anyone, but he started off like that and he just threw me. Right. And so then I got thrown together with Nicole. They found her. I didn't know her last name. I kept calling them my echoes, Nicole and Nicole, because that's how I joked with them. Like they were my echoes. There was an echo in here when I met him.
Yeah.
And so that turned into them wanting us to, on an interview, meet for the first time, which I thought since then, it was a Tuesday. I hadn't went to bed yet. Sunday, I went to the concert. Tuesday at 9:00, I'm interviewing with Ellen's producers. And just before that, I did an interview with Nicole. And behind my sunglasses, tears are running down my face because I'm meeting the person that I helped. But really, I think she saved my life because she gave me purpose. I focused on other people and not myself. And by doing that, it kept me alive. And that's what I believe. Over time, we fell in love. And that's the person that I've been with for 6.5 years. I guess we grew apart. I didn't see it, didn't know it, but I'm back, so. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, thank you for telling that.
Yeah, man. I know
really
that's a lot
appreciate
to bring back up. I can't fathom what you went through, but thank you for sharing it with us. We wanted to kind of open the book on what an amazing character you are, what amazing character you have. And I had goosebumps on my whole body the whole time you're talking.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. Your dad is somebody that won't ever let me forget it. It's wild. I was at a barbecue at your house the other day, and he's like, I would tattoo "I'm a hero" on my forehead, and I'm like, no. And Hero's Journey podcast is not about that. I told you in part 1 what it's about. It's not. That's not my identity. That's not who I am.
That's just a part of it.
It's just. I'm about people. There are people that I run into for the moment, and I feel like, we needed to meet in that moment.
Yeah.
I needed to get that bit of advice. I needed to see you're behind this little room. That's amazing, by the way, you guys, because you ain't done yet. Right?
That's right.
Behind that is the land of Oz. And that was started. It's unreal. And what you've accomplished and what you've done. There are things that make us up, but it's putting in the work and it's being, good to people and that's I take my pride forward. Exactly. Keep moving forward. But the thing is, for me, I feel like I needed to meet you today and see this side of you, because it was inspiring, and to know that you battled cancer
Yeah.
all that could be gone. All that means shit if you die, but you're here. And now you're sharing stories. And I said that before in part one, where we all have to tell our story and we have to pass that along. In my culture, Native American Indians, it's the elders. You learn from your elders.
Right? Yeah.
Exactly. And you treat them with respect. And they could be drunken buffoons, right?
Yeah.
But there are things that they went through in life and the stuff that they've lived that you can learn from.
It's part of the problem with our country today is that people don't respect their elders.
No, exactly.
And that's why people aren't learning the way they could.
You ever meet somebody who they're old and crotchety or whatever, and in a way, if they're old, you're like, they have the right to be like that.
Yeah.
They've lived life. You don't know what they've seen. You don't know what they've been through. Let them be, and just take the good from whatever it is, or no, I don't want to be like that. So how can I be? So I'm not going to be like that.
I mean, every grouchy, older gentleman that I've met, once you get down deep inside and start having a conversation, they're not that grouchy guy.
Right.
They might just be grouchy at the time because their bones probably hurt. They're old. I mean,
they don't have
every
patience.
day I get older.
Yeah. Right.
I'm crawling out of bed a little bit slower than I did the day before, right?
Yeah.
So I can't imagine what I'm going to feel like when I'm 75. Hopefully, if I stay in the gym and Ryan keeps texting me to get my ass in the gym, right? That I don't feel that way. But, I mean, when I talk with these guys and you sit down and actually have a conversation, you can just learn so much.
Yeah.
So much by just listening.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And I like that you bring up, your roots, because it shows that, you come from a place where word and there's codes, there's spiritual codes, there's honor, and, you fight on and you keep moving forward.
Absolutely.
I think that's why we get along so well. And, just a week after that, we were playing at Red Rock.
We did. We, the one thing we did, we did a show at Red Rock with Brian Lindsay, helped organize it. It was supposed to be for another event, and we kept it going because at the end of the day, we didn't want to have.
I think it was cancer. It was like girls, the pink. Will you wear pink? What's it?
I think it had something to do with the Heart Association.
Heart Association.
Yeah. And so, but we switched it, and I had to do it because I didn't want it to be taken away from me, that being on stage and doing it. So we promoted it on TV. I had Nicole get up a song that we wrote called The Fight for the Heart Association, called The Fight.
That's right.
I changed the lyrics so it fit, and I wrote the bridge the night before for this event. And made it fit, and I got approval from everybody. It was like, "Are you okay with this? Like, we've been sitting on this for a long time. It's not recorded. This is the fight. This is for our
Something
city.
Bigger, yeah.
Exactly. It's bigger than what it was intended. But if you understand music takes on new life. I may write a song about this, but even when I'm singing it, it changes. They're my words, but the meaning changes because I've grown." Or whatever, but it may connect with you in a different way.
Sure.
So we played that song. After that song, after we did that night, my mom was hit with all these people going, "I'm really proud of you. You raised a good son." All these nice, positive things to my mom. She is an empath, like myself, and she soaked up all this. I hear a thud. And my dad was out of town, and I hear a thud, and my mom's on the floor, and I have to call an ambulance that night of the show and get my mom.
I don't remember that.
No, nobody knew. And get her she had an anxiety attack that felt like a heart attack because of everything that she saw me go through, everything that went on that night, and even watching me hold Nicole's hand, a total stranger. I have her on stage now singing this song. She's crying. It was a lot. And so I went to the hospital, sat by my mom's bed. Now I have a benefit concert that was been thrown together in LA on the 6th, the very next day in the evening in LA for the same thing, raising money to put it in the fund. And so I go out there, and on the way, I get a call. It's Ben getting a call from DJ Silver, who just went on right before Jason Aldean, right? That night on the main stage. And he's like, I can't find Bryan's number. I know I have it. I can't find it. And he goes, Bryan's sitting right next to me in the passenger seat asleep. I wake up. I'm like, what's up? He's like, I want to thank you. My mother-in-law said, that's the guy who saved me. And so she gets on the phone and we are crying. And I'm like, so now, and I'm getting messages from people. I'm getting messages from, I'm doing an interview with Tucker Carlson, and the SWAT guys around him are like, you saved my niece. This is her. She's saying blah, 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 you know. And I'm getting the lieutenant governor hugging me and telling me, having me tell this story. I'm getting the dispatch going, bro, you know, we want to meet you. We want you to come to the fire station, whatever. And I'm like, whoa, this is a lot. And this is the last interview that I did on the last day because, you know, there were also negative stuff. People calling me a coward for hiding in a refrigerator truck by the owner of the company. And he got blasted by people. But in my head, that's all I'm seeing, right? Is this. I didn't care. We lived, right? So, but what I'm saying is, so I go and I do the show, and when I get to the show, I see a news crew, and I'm like, oh, they're not here for me. Good, they're interviewing these girls. Well, the girls come running over to me. Two out of the three girls, this is what I did for them. And I'm like, what? I did? And they're like, you grabbed me, you put me in the truck, then you put me over the wall. And I'm like, I did? Because all I had was Nicole and Nicole. That was my focus. That's the promise I made. Everybody else that needed my help, I would help.
Yeah.
But they were the ones I remembered. And so here's two girls crying and telling me what I did on camera. And then I got a call to do another benefit on October 15th, just another 10 days later in Alaska, 2 fallen Alaskans. So we go out there for this benefit concert that we're headlining. All the news crews show up. The night before, I sat with one of the fallen Alaskans. His name was Adrian Murfitt. I sit with his mom. I'm holding her hand across from the table at dinner. His brother, his sister, and his niece and nephew.
At the show too? Okay.
They were in Alaska.
Okay.
So there were 2 fallen Alaskans, 2 people who died from Alaska there.
Okay.
I'm meeting one of them. I'm flying to Alaska to do a benefit concert to raise money for their funeral.
Okay.
Okay.
Wow.
And one of the families wanted to have dinner with us. So one of the sponsors paid for the dinner. Ben and I are sitting there with them, and our fiddle player, Ramon Phillip, who now plays with Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
And so we're sitting at the table, and I'm holding this lady's hand or whatever. I don't know her son, but I'm there to do this for them. The next day I do the show, sold out show. Every news crew that's in town is there covering it all. And the show's over, and I'm talking to Nicole on FaceTime. She's just my friend. She's somebody that I'm just getting through this. She's like, how you doing? How you holding up? FaceTiming her. This guy walks up. His name's Bryan, big guy. And he goes, I want to thank you for doing this. That was my best friend you did this for. And I'm like, hey, man, I'm sorry. And you're welcome. Then he goes, I go, I'm sorry we met like this. He goes, we met before. And I'm like, he goes, I was there. And I'm looking at him. And then it was like the walls just started moving. And Nicole goes, are you okay? And I'm like, no. And I look at him and I'm like, I took a picture with you. And he goes, you did.
That the cowboy hat?
His friend was the one with the cowboy hat. And his friend was shot and killed right behind me.
Wow.
So that's the kid I'm playing for.
Wow.
And I'm like, there's Santa Mars. And I was like,
right. Yep.
I was like,
Oh, yeah.
22,000 people. I meet him moments before, so I walk over to his mom and I said, he was having the time of his life before this happened. I met your son moments before this happened. I took a picture with him, and it's on his phone that never showed up. And so nobody has a phone. Nobody has a photo. But we, all four of us. Ben is out loading up the car, looking at the TV and the photos that they're putting up. He can see inside the venue, and he calls me. I grab the phone. I'm like, Nicole, hold on. He goes, we met this guy. I'm like, I know. I just discovered it right now. I got to go find his mom.
Yeah.
So then this other girl walks up to me, and she goes, my sister is Doreen Anderson. She died there. You did this for her. I'm still friends with both of them. Bryan, his brother, Adrian Murphy's brother, Aaron. His mom supports me, like, supports what I do. And then Doreen Anderson's sister. And so it's this weird.
It's crazy, man.
Like, what are the, like, so here's the thing. Like, I said this in part one. If you pay attention to what's going on in your life, if you're listening and paying attention to the signs, the things that may be holding you up, maybe for a reason right now, and you just got to look at it like, okay, it's kind of like, oh, my car broke down. Well, maybe I wasn't supposed to be on the freeway right now.
Right.
Or maybe whatever. And so these moments that were held up, this is not your time. You're waiting for the wave. It's not your turn. You're waiting you've battled all the way out there, but if you're patient, here comes your big wave. And now if you're prepared, you're going to ride it all the way into the beach, kind of thing. And so that's where I am in my life right now. Nicole is, when I used to say, and she is the love of my life, the greatest thing that ever happened to me. I lost myself in her. But now I'm finding myself again. And now it's time for me to come out as Bryan Hopkins. Now it's time for me to put out my first single, hit the road, shoot the video. I'm recording with Superman this weekend. Decadent, the young kid, the producer, working with, going to do a couple of songs with him as well.
Yeah.
I'm not saying no to anything. I'm putting in the work, and it's time, because you know what? I ain't done yet.
Yeah, baby.
I believe that.
That's so amazing.
I believe that for sure.
And that's why, it just shows how you've been through so much, and you're so talented.
Thank you.
You were able to, when Life by Music did its veterans outreach, shoulder to shoulder, Bryan Hopkins came in and worked with these veterans with me. That's the difference too. Like, we could get guys in here who have great careers and they can talk about these amazing things that they've done. But Bryan also shows up on the bottom level in like, hey, we're teaching guitar chords right now. We're working on songs with veterans, and you have to have patience, and you got to read the room, and we don't know what's going to come out, but we both have PTSD from certain things, so we can connect, and that was the hope, and then we did.
Well, it was a thank you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. Thank you for the compliment. In the moment, I didn't think I was going to be able to. I was nervous to come in, have all these faces stare at me. But I enjoyed it. I loved it. I'm like, can I come back again? Like, I wanted to keep coming back.
Yeah, you were only supposed to come for one, and you ended up coming for 4.
Yeah, I came for 4 times because I had a blast. And then I literally said, I don't know where songs come from. I call it a download. I don't know when I'm going to get it.
Yeah,
I could be going down the road, and it's raining, and or getting on the freeway. There's all these moments that will hit me. I don't know where it comes from and why, but it does. And I had to force that moment, but it took 4 days of it, and the last 2 days we heard all their stories.
Yeah.
And then we were able to divide up into groups and then go, okay, if you guys don't mind, I'm going to sound horrible. I don't know what's happening, but let's do this together, and you guys can witness with your chords. I will write a song in front of you.
Yeah.
Using our words, we will put them in there, and I'll show you how to write a song. Yeah. And we did that together, and it was an amazing experience, and I didn't know I could do it, but it gave me the confidence. Last week I got back, or 2 weeks ago, I went to LA and I got called in. The guitar player from The Offspring and Jay Rustin and this girl Gabriella Gunn. She won the Czechoslovakian Idol show.
Nice.
She's in the Trans-Siberian Orchestra. She's the main singer in that. The girl, she's amazing. So if you look her up, Gabriella Gunn, she's incredible.
Yep.
So they called me and said, "Hey, we want your help. We're struggling. We've had writing sessions. We don't have anything. We have the tracks." So I show up and it's those moments like that where, okay, let me see what I can do. We wrote 2 songs.
Just
I didn't know they
present.
counted. They needed to count. They were counting on me to come up with melody in the moment. And it meant a lot to me to get the call from Jay, and two songs I'm really proud of. And she's gonna be cutting these songs, but it's going back to, okay, I could do this because I sat in front of 18 people staring at me, and I'm having to force this moment, and be able to do it, and it was because Ryan put me in a uncomfortable situation to try and be comfortable.
He put you on the spot, did he?
Yeah, to be comfortable and allow me to be myself in front of these people, and that was great. And I applaud what you do. It's amazing, and I had a great time doing it. So yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. And that was the thing too. It was our first time doing the course. So I was like, Bryan.
I remember how nervous you were.
Yeah, I was like, I don't.
Right?
This is gonna be challenging, man, because I know what I want to happen, and I know that this is genuine energy and fact in what we're teaching, and then we just see what comes from it. And I think you were like the perfect person to have there with us. So
I had a lot of fun.
We have the next one coming up, and I know you're super busy, but I'm going to be reaching out.
Yeah, please.
And we'll see how it lines up.
Yeah.
But
sitting down and hearing stories from people, it goes back to what I said. We need to share our stories. We share our stories, and it's passing it along. If I started mine, and if my son is the only person that's watching my show, it's all that matters to me.
That's what we said. All we need to do is change one person. If one person is changed by this, it's all worth it. We're having a good time doing it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
it is therapeutic too.
It is therapeutic. Yeah.
Man. Like you're saying.
Talking to you guys today has helped me.
Yeah.
Also, you guys, when I walked in, you're like, "Hey, we noticed you're doing.
Yeah.
Oh, you are? That's awesome.
Yeah.
But then what you just said, sitting down and having a conversation today, he can tell you all day long, but you're hearing it, seeing it. I'm close to you.
Yeah.
And we are going through similar things at the same time.
Yeah.
But it's also okay, and I'm going to tell you this right now. It's also okay for you and I to do things like, hey, why aren't we doing this together?
Yeah.
Why don't we try this together? Because we're not hurting anybody.
Yeah.
Just like Decadent. He's got his thing, but he's over there helping, somebody else he looks up to as his hero, then, and he looks at me and goes, why not? Let's do that. It goes back to what John was saying earlier, where how bands would team up and help each other and walk through together. And then you go different directions, but music is music, and if you're inspired by all these different things. I have Superman coming on, and Superman is a hip hop artist.
Yeah.
But he inspires me. I'm a fan, and the fact that we're going to be doing something together, amazing. Decadent is Donnie is this kid who plays rock with EDM music, and he does this whole thing. I can't do that. But if he wants to do something together, he can't do what I'm doing. So that's why he's asking me to do it together.
Well, and that creates a whole new energy.
A whole nother something. Yeah, a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
So why not? And then, and that's what I'm saying. Yeah. You come from the rock world. That's rock that you do. And I saw where those dreams were built in that backyard of your house. I was at your house for a barbecue
you
watching the
Wise
fights.
House.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And the dreams that were built there to where we are sitting down having a conversation right now.
Yeah.
That's a long way. My favorite photo is I have my arm around my dad, and we're looking at 7,000 people at the M Resort. And I had it's a blurry photo somebody took of my arm around my dad, and we're in the casita right behind the stage that looks out to all those people. Mm-hmm. Daughtry's on stage. We just walked off stage, and I said, we're a long way from the backyard, Dad, because my dad would sit in the backyard and play guitar. My uncle played guitar. My dad sang and played the spoons. And that's where the love of music came from, in our backyard. Any random day would turn into a backyard family barbecue, which I wrote a song, which is on the album that's out right now.
I remember that song.
About it.
I know it. Yeah.
And my dad is staring at 7,700 people, where he was just on stage with me on the big screen playing the spoons for 2 songs, and Randy Couture's got his arm around him, sitting there singing while my dad's playing the spoons.
Yeah.
And it's those moments. It's that kind of stuff. And it's fleeting moments that happen, but we chase those moments.
Mm-hmm. Those waves.
Exactly. That's exactly it. And that's exactly what we chase.
Yeah.
And it's our version of being, the surfer or whatever it is. And you were on my show, and you and your brother said it. We're not promised anything past this tour or that tour. We don't know what the future holds. But if we keep putting in the work and keep moving forward, then we'll be
you
okay.
You can create it.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's exactly it.
Yep.
And that's the hard part. And that's why Nicole and I are not together, because she knows if she did this, and this, these things happen. If I do this, I don't know that that's going to happen and this is going to happen. That's been my entire life. I was an actor for a long time. I was, nothing was promised to me, but I'm sitting in front of you going, look what I've done.
Yeah.
Look at all the stuff that I have achieved and done, and the life that I have lived so far. I'm not living in the past. I'm living in the moment, and I don't have anxiety from the future right now because I'm not worried about it. She did. Mm-hmm. The anxiety of, well, what's there? I'm like, I don't know, but that's me. That's how I am. And man, I'm happy.
Yeah.
I'm so happy right now.
The metamorphosis of Bryan Hopkins.
Yeah.
Right?
It's awesome, man. Now, we ask everybody who comes on Ain't Done Yet, what is something, if you could go back and talk to your younger self, what would you say to that young man, that young boy, young B-Hop? What would you tell him?
That's wild. I think I just told you all that stuff.
Yeah.
And honestly, like I know growing up in Salem, Oregon, that I was bigger than the place I grew up. Mm-hmm. I was made for more things than what could happen if I stayed in that town.
So never discount yourself. Then.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah. I was like, it was one of those things where it may not be telling that young version of myself, the dreams that I have right now may not be exactly what, it may not be exactly what I'm hoping they were. Cause man, when I was a kid, I was a baseball player. Baseball was my life. Mm-hmm. I was being drafted out of high school. I landed in acting, and then music found me. And music was an accident.
Plans change.
Exactly. They do change. Yeah. And to pivot and to take life like a turtle, honestly. Like if I had a spirit animal, that would be it. And I would have told myself that it's not a race, it's a journey. And here, go that direction and learn to go over, under, around. But there's that little bit of light that you're walking towards will get bigger if you keep moving towards it. Just keep moving forward. Mm. And because it can be taken away from us with anything.
Yeah.
Anything. And to enjoy it. And that's what I've done. And I know that it's not made for everybody. The way I live my life is not made for everybody. Yeah. And I've had businesses that I have Red Chapter Clothing, which was a very big company for a long time. I was partners with Stan Lee and Marvel, and we were in 600 stores. And then stuff happened. Stan Lee dies. COVID happens. You know, all this stuff, and I'm having to pivot again.
A lot of pivots.
Exactly.
Got to keep moving forward.
Keep moving.
You just got to keep moving forward.
Absolutely.
From it, you know?
And it's that's the choice. If I don't want to go work for somebody, you know, it's like, then I got to know that falling down is going to be something that's going to happen. I'm going to fall down. I just got to dust it off, get up, keep moving forward. And you guys are seeing that right now.
Yeah.
You guys are seeing, I could have taken a whole nother path, and I'm not. I'm taking what's given to me and going, okay, let's keep.
I can do this. Yep. I can do this.
I can do this. Yep. This is me.
Well, we're excited to continue to watch, support, and be a part of
Thanks, man.
of the journey, man.
Where can they find the new stuff when it comes out?
ElvisMonroe.com. Like I said, I'm standing on that platform I built. ElvisMonroe.com. It has everything. It'll take you right to, you know, the Bryan Hopkins stuff. It'll take you to Hero's Journey, you know, everything. And that's Hero's Journey podcast. And so, yeah. And it takes you to the music that's out now on Spotify, iTunes, all that good stuff.
It's awesome,
right.
man.
Yeah.
That is awesome, man. We'll look forward to seeing the new stuff from B-Hop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much again for sharing such a insane story with us, and you know,
Of course.
Yeah, much appreciated.
You
man.
ain't done yet, baby. You got lots more to go. We're excited.
Lots to do. Thank you for having me. It's an
For
honor.
sure, for
All right,
sure.
guys. Cool.
Come
and
back
Alex
anytime.
out there. Thanks, bro.
Yeah, Alex, thank you.
Yeah, as always, Alex. Thank you very much, man.